How to succeed as the virtual presenter. Welcome to today's session with my special guest, Sönke, owner and managing director of the company Trippleson. Hello, Sönke.
Hello, Colin. Nice to be again.
Great to have you here. Last time we spoke on how you can succeed as the virtual presenter, you had a few technical challenges that you were working with. How is that going for you now?
Last time we solved one of my biggest issues, how to hold eye contact in a meeting in both directions, so I can see you and you can see me. And we solved that by arranging a second screen behind my camera. Like you have the example how we did it. Yes,
Yeah.
exactly like that. So that was working fine, and I'm now quite happy with that. Then I have an exercise uh, before that meeting now to run a presentation and sharing a screen in PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm.
So I was using now both screens, and I was quite happy with that, that I'm running the meeting presentation on one screen and sharing, as we have, on the other one. You have a picture for that, I think. Yes, exactly. So that was working really great. But now I come to the next level of challenge is I like to control the session in a better way.
Right.
As long as I show the presentation, no problem. But how to go in and out, asking for some questions, taking up some other presentations and so on, that is a little bit struggling. So my question to you, Colin, how are you arranging your desktops to solve that?
Yeah, that is a very interesting question to ask. Let me just stand here on the picture that we are sharing here on the screen, because this is going to be a setup that many people recognize from the virtual room in the physical room. Because if you do presentations in the physical room, like with a larger audience, you know that you have got a screen reflecting the presentation in front of you, and then in your sight, in your view, you have your audience. So
Correct?
sometimes you might be looking down, but most of the time you will be looking at your audience. So to be able to do exactly the same thing like you do in the virtual environment, you need this second screen that you have installed. Because,
Hmm?
and this is important to know for everybody, PowerPoint takes up one screen of the presentation when you switch to presentation view. So everything else you have to manage on the second screen, which in your case, and in my case, is behind the camera.
So that means, Colin, that I have to make a smarter arrangement of different windows in the screen that is behind the camera,
Yeah,
correct?
yeah. And I'm
Good.
going to show you my screen, how I manage meetings, presentations, workshops. Now, I have to warn you, there's a lot going on. But always
Okay.
remember, I have one screen that is always showing the presentation.
Yes, that's the one that I have in front of me.
Yeah,
Yes.
below. So let's have a look what the other screen is going to have, which is behind the camera.
Yes.
Are you ready for this? So this is
Yeah.
this is everything that is happening on my screen. I'm going to move my mouse to give you an idea. Here,
Okay.
this is the presenter's view of your presentation. This is typically where you can see what is the next picture. You can go and switch pictures backwards and forwards, and you probably have got some speaker notes there.
Okay. So that is the second window of my PowerPoint presentation.
Correct.
The PowerPoint presentation is on slideshow mode, and that is what you have on the screen in front of
Yeah,
you. And this is the screen you see what's the next slide and so on. Correct?
exactly. And what you
Okay.
want to do, and this is a tip I give everybody, is go here on this second little icon and start to minimize the size of this window so that you get more space of this on the screen. Because this is
Okay.
what you need for the rest of the space. You need space for your meeting. Yeah. And when you click on the meeting and start sharing your meeting in Teams, typically your camera view becomes a tiny little icon on the bottom right of your screen. And you want to
Correct.
click on that so that the meeting becomes large. And then you do the same thing. You arrange the second window here on the right to fit into the remaining part of your screen. So here you see everybody who's in the meeting.
Okay, so first I have to start up my presentation, go in slideshow mode, and then I will move up the small window as the first window in my background screen.
Yeah.
Then I will do the same thing with the Teams meetings window. That's the second one to place. Okay, and
Exactly.
what are the other ones?
And what is important here is that I also open the chat window. Yeah, so if somebody is chatting something, asking a question, at least I can see something's happening. But
Yeah,
here's a
so you can react on a question or something like that, and you
Yeah.
do not need a second person.
Correct.
Yeah,
And here's a big tip. Most of the time, when you're standing doing your presentation behind your screen, you cannot read what the people are asking. So it might look a little silly if you go to the camera and start reading like this. So that is why I always enter the meeting with my cell phone and have the chat on my phone, so I can then tell people, okay, I can see something happening on the chat, and I'm go open my cell phone to see what is happening.
okay, good. And the other windows that you have is
the other-
to be prepared for something that happens.
Yeah, the other one here, this is the overview of the presentation, which gives me an idea of what the sequence of the slides are. And the other here is actually if I want to move a web page, a questionnaire, I want to move that onto the screen that I'm sharing. I have this already open. Same goes for a video. If I want to share a video, I have that already open. And I just take this window then when I need it and I drag it onto the other screen where I want to share that to my team.
Okay, good. So that is the other half is about to be prepared for something that happens.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Good.
in your case, your camera is going to be somewhere here in the middle.
Yes.
So that you have just above the camera, you have everything that is important, which is your presentation and your audience.
Perfect.
Try it out.
Okay, thank you very much, Colin. That will be my next step to be more flexible regarding the controlling of the meeting. Great.
It takes a little practice, yeah, to see where the windows are, because what you need to practice is to focus on what is important, your meeting
Yes,
and your people.
I understand that. Great. So then I'm looking forward to make some experience with that and looking forward to our next session.
Terrific. Thank you for today.
Thank you, Colin. See you.
Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to this session about how to succeed as the virtual presenter. If you would like to learn more about how you can make an impact online, maybe you would want to reach out to my book, How to Succeed as the Virtual Presenter on Amazon, or listen to the audiobook on BookBeat and Storytel. And if you would like to be in contact with me, Coach Colin, write me an email to presenter@itsfoursides.com and I'll give you priority access to tips and tricks so that you can get started, so that you can be the presenter who makes an impact online without getting involved with all these costly software systems and services.